Hi, I'm Mark, and I want to do a video on discerning false prophets. This is what God's kind of put on my mind. I just noticed a lot of videos about false prophets and people calling different people false prophets. Maybe one of the first things I should start with would be the scriptures. And I've got scriptures right here. I got this little, I didn't want the actually, I didn't want the little fish on it. You see the fish on it right there. That nice little fish. I didn't really want that. I just wanted a plain cover. You know, people get all into these symbols and all this stuff. If you go to Matthew, I'm flipping there right now. It's harder when the pages are gold, you know, because that usually means that they got the thinner paper. So if you go to Matthew and Matthew 5, so we've got that right here. They call them the Beatitudes. This is Matthew 4:8. I believe that's what it says. There's Matthew 5. See? Jesus speaking. That's why they put it in red. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on the mountain. Okay? And there's a little side mark here. Or hill, I think, basically. Or hill is what it says. Or mountain or hill. So a sermon on the mount, sermon on the hill. Up on the hill, mountain or hill. And after he sat down, his disciples came to him. That didn't say the 12. It mentions the 12, but this includes the women. And not just the 12, but this includes the other disciples. Of course, Matthias, who was chosen in, I believe it was Acts 1, was chosen to be one of the 12 and to replace Judas, if you remember, cast by lot. He opened his mouth to teach them, saying, and began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So what alerts me almost immediately is when people are pumped up, you know, when they're young and they've had the way greased for them, especially, and they feel good about themselves and vim and vigor, and they just became a Christian. Blessed are the poor in spirit. He's talking about people who are following him. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Because that's how they come to Jesus, and it takes a while to, you know, get over the kind of brokenness in spirit, I would say, from realizing your whole life is wrong. Your whole life, you know, before you become a Christian, is wrong, and that needs to be corrected. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. So you see something mournful when you see a Joker or Mr. GQ. Those are the kind of people I look out for as being false teachers or false prophets. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. Or meek. Let's see where we here. There's a mark on there. It says 25. It's hard to see in this light again. Or humble. The meek or humble. So you're looking for humility. For they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. People who are hungering for righteousness, not touting the company line, not saying Jesus was born and resurrected, and if you don't not saved, you're going to go to hell, and all that stuff. Anybody can do that. You know, an atheist could do that. And people that tick off atheists, are they really, you know, encouraging people to follow Christ? Are they encouraging people to follow God? No, they're not, because they're ticking them off and turning them off. That's not a way to reach them. And it's not loving. And, you know, a Christian must be loving. Jesus said, all the world will know you are my disciples if you love each other. If you love each other, not hate each other. And that is manifest. It's one of the reasons I don't argue with atheists and pick on Christians so much, is because even the Christians, when they hate one another, they won't tell you that they hate one another, will they? And when they hate me, they won't admit that they hate me and that that's ungodly and that God punishes, you know, at least disciplines people who are Christians, people who desire to follow Christ or who are interested in that kind of stuff, he will discipline them for what they do, when they hate one another, especially when they hate children of God. Hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied or filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. When you see that people are unmerciful, and somebody comes to mind, but I'm trying to keep people out of this. For they shall receive mercy. Then the unmerciful, it stands to reason, perhaps shall not receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. He's looking for purity. Jesus said, beware, and maybe I can put it, down here. Jesus said, beware of the Pharisees, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. They weren't pure. They were trying to put the scriptures up in front of them to say, look, here are the scriptures, and because I have the scriptures and because I've studied the scriptures, well, they would say that it doesn't matter what their life is because they know the law. They're just judged, discerned among the lawyers and among the Pharisees. He said, you lawyers, you scribes, you Pharisees. Well, he didn't say you lawyers, but he's talking about, I think he may have said you lawyers or something about it. But it was being against the lawyers and the scribes and the Pharisees, the people who knew this, and they weren't following Jesus. They were trying to kill him, right? Blessed are the peacemakers. Let's see. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. You're looking for purity, not hypocrisy. Because Jesus said, inwardly, you're full of dead men's bones and everything that's unclean. Their hypocrisy was the problem, that they didn't have a pure heart and that they weren't seeking God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Here it is. If you like the people and everybody likes this person, trying not to say any preachers or anything like that, or anybody on YouTube, but if everybody likes them, there's a problem, because you are not supposed to like them. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Jesus said, if the world hates you, I can try to put it down here. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you were of the world would love you, basically, Jesus says. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Because they're righteous, they're persecuted. It says, blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness. They're persecuted for the sake of righteousness, not blessed. So you're not looking for the popular people, I believe, on YouTube or elsewhere. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you. So you're looking for somebody who's insulted. You're looking for somebody who's persecuted. And falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Okay, because of Christ. And you see, are they really following Christ? Because of Christ, because they are loving one another. You said, all the world will know you're my disciples if you love one another. Again, I can put it down there. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Jesus said, if you were of the world would love you. But because I have taken you out of the world, because of this, the world hates you. And I could put that down there. I don't look for somebody, who's following Christ to be towing the company role, towing the company, line and all that stuff. I look for people who love one another. Jesus said that's how they will know you're my disciples. Not people who slander one another, not people who do stuff behind people's backs, for the most part. That kind of wicked stuff behind people's backs. the most important thing, I can put that down there too. The most important thing is that people do the right thing. That they love one another. Persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Because you're doing righteous and the world is not doing righteous. Those are the kind of people I look for, for being true prophets and, to hell, quote unquote, with the rest of them. Okay. And it's not that doesn't mean I have bad intentions to them. Just, okay. That doesn't mean that. God bless.